Next, we're going to do a contour line drawing. Contour line is pretty easy to understand when you juxtapose it to outline. So we just did the silhouette of a bottle, and again, the best way to think about this is to imagine it either as a shadow or as if this bottle had a really bright light behind it, so it's backlit, and we can really just see the outside shape. And so that's an outline. And now we're going to draw contour lines, which is all of the details inside of the bottle. So this demo will inevitably take a little bit longer because of the quantity of detail that we're going to be working with now. So to get started, I'm going to do the exact same thing with my lighter pencil, where I'm going to begin to map out the general shape and form of the bottle, the kind of gestural curve of the different parts of the bottle. Here's the little spout. Here's that little handle. Comes back down here. A long, slender neck. And then the body. The only difference now is that I'm actually also going to begin to work in some of the little details. So I'm going to begin to draw a little circle there, little lines there, little lines there, define where this curve happens, define where this curve happens. There's a curve right about here. And once I begin to define those things, then I can go in and draw this shape. And as I'm drawing it, I'm going to be drawing both the outline and the contour lines. So you don't want to necessarily draw the outline and then go fill it in. You want to be drawing all of these things simultaneously with each other. Try to draw your lines with as much confidence as possible. I know that there's this kind of tendency to draw sort of sketch-like lines. I do it too. You can always go back in and fill those lines in again with more confident lines. And as you keep working, try to work towards more confident lines. But obviously you can always still make these kind of gestural marks as well. I'm just realizing that I cut my bottle a little bit shorter than I intended to, so it's going to kind of come up a little longer, which just means that this line's going to be about right there, and this line's going to be about right there. And so with contour line, I'm really going in and I'm defining all of the shapes that are on the inside of this bottle here, and especially this nozzle area, the spray area is really quite interesting. There's a lot going on, and so I do want to make sure that I'm capturing that. Now remember, this is still just a contour line drawing. I don't need to worry about things like value and tone necessarily. I'm going to go ahead and draw some of the label on this bottle. The next thing that we're going to do is going to be hatching and cross hatching. So for now, just worry about the contour lines. Don't worry so much about the that went down a little too far. Don't worry about the shading. Don't worry about any value, significant shadows or anything like that, because we're gonna study that next. Sometimes if I want to express some lettering, but I don't want to spend a ton of time on lettering, just like little gestural, dimensional gestural marks can do the trick. So now what I'll begin to do is to just make some clear final decisions about some of these marks, because some of these marks are still a little bit murky, and I want to go ahead and finalize those marks. One thing that I find to be particularly true is that I really enjoy the personality of a pencil line that is not, you know, absolutely perfectly unwavering. So like if as you're drawing, if there are like these little moments where your pencil line becomes a little bit gestural or a little bit wobbly, like I would kind of embrace that and let that part of your personality as you're drawing come out. Because I know I really like that, and a lot of people really like that. So here's that more confident mark making that I mentioned, of kind of, you know, getting to that point. It's okay if you're making some gestures and some kind of more messy looking lines early on, but be able to really fill that in the end with some kind of cleaner lines, clearer marks. And up here will be especially important to, you know, just begin to kind of clean this area up just a little bit. normally not recommend working with a pencil this stubby. I just can't find the rest of my set for the moment, so I'm kind of stuck. Okay, so at this point now I'm going to, finish up filling in some of these lines. And I'm going to begin to erase some of the, shapes and lines that I do not need to have in this composition. And so what I'll show you then is a finished photograph once this has all of those lines erased. It's just the same erasing process that I did with the outline.